Okay, so today we are going to do the topic on cumulative frequency curve. All right, now look at the table here. This table is called the frequency table. You have seen it before already. The top one is your x value. The bottom one is your frequency. Now, what is so special about the range here? Look at the inequality sign. The right one has equal or the left one have equal. But definitely one of them will have an equal sign. We are going to do something called a cumulative frequency table on the right. So how do we do it? Okay, what's the meaning of cumulate? Okay, what is the meaning of accumulate? So what must you do to get the total? Okay, correct, is you add up everything. Just add up. Okay, so we are going to add up. How it goes is like this. How many of the mass is less than 30? So we look at the frequency table, less than 30. Now when I go through the lesson, whether I use the word less than or I use the word less than or equal, doesn't matter. Okay, how many students has mass less than 30? Look at the table here. None, right? Yeah, correct. None, so I put a 0. Okay, that's all. How many of them has less than 40? How many students has mass less than 40 kg? 2. Okay, so I just write 2 lor. Oh, very simple, huh? How many students has mass less than 50? Now they're a bit tricky already. Okay, this is the most important part. How many of them has mass less than 50 kilogram? How do you get 12? Add up, right? So 2, this one is less than 50. This one also less than 50. So total is 12 lor, that's all. How many of them is less than or equals to 60? How do you get 16? Seriously, you use 2 plus 10 plus 4, so long-winded. What's the faster way? Yeah, you can use 2 plus 10 plus 4, but a faster way will be just use the 12, because I'm accumulating, right? And then now you add the 4. Okay, just add the extra 4. Yeah, you'll be faster. And how many of them less than or equals to 70? I add another 12. So I add another 12 is 28. And finally, how many of them less than or equals to 80? I add this. Now, please look at the question in the resource book. How many students are there? 30, right? So you know your answer correct, lor. So what just happened was, I convert from a frequency table and I have a new table called cumulative frequency table. Later we are going to plot it. Okay, I will show you how it looks like. Alright? Now, I start with this table. What is this table called? Come look at the table. Okay, why is it not the frequency? It's not like from 50 to 60. It's not. It's all the numbers less than 55, all the number less than 60, all the students less than 70 kg, all the students less than 75 kg, and so on. So it's cumulative. Okay, but don't worry, the question will tell you. Okay, so now I have these numbers here. Okay, call one by one. I never teach, but you know it's the reverse, right? What's the reverse of plus is minus, common sense. Okay, so what minus what? Between 55 to 60, how many students are there? So between 55 and 60, right? So there are 4. Okay, if you don't know, never mind, you got 4 more chance of seeing a pattern now. How many students have weights between 60 to 65? Ilham? 6. How do you get 6? Okay, I'll write it here. 10 minus 4 is 6. Now, exam don't have to write the working. Okay, I write this because you all will forget a few days later. Okay, between 70 to 65 to 70. Read wrongly. And so this is the type of error you can make. So please don't read wrongly. 13 minus 10. And the answer is 3. Okay, next. How many students have weights between 75 and 70 or 70 and 75? How many? 5. And finally, how many students have weight between 80 and 75? How many? 2, right? Wait, how do you know you're correct or wrong? There's one way to check. Add together, you should get how much? 20, you should get 20. Did I get 20? So this is called a frequency table now. Okay. Let's say the cumulative frequency look like this. This one look like what shape? What shape does this look like? Okay, usually it looks like an S shape. I will explain why later. Okay, just for the sake of curiosity sake, I'll tell you why it looks like S shape. So a cumulative frequency curve most of the time looks like this. Okay? So, ask you a question here. If you cannot see, please tilt your head a bit. What is this number here? Okay, I give you a clue. You look at the table. This is a very important part of the video. What is that number there? Yes, what is that number there on the x-axis? I cannot be asking you such a lame question, right? Anybody can tell me? Every year I ask the same question. All right, I take the cumulative frequency table, any table, and I just plot it along x and y, 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 x and y. Okay, so this is a different question now. Okay, I plot the x and y, the x and the y. All right, just any x and any y here, x and y. It will look like this. So I plot it. Later I'll show you in real life. So what is that number there? The time is, okay, this number here, okay, please pay attention, it's very important. This number here is less than 30. Now you look at the cumulative frequency table here. Can you see that I plot the x and y, I plot the x and y, I plot the x and y, I plot the x and y. The x always have a less than sign. Okay? X and y, x and y, x and y, x and y. The x always has a less than sign. Hey, it's very important. Okay, the reason is this now. Answer this question. How many students spend less than 30 seconds? Okay, answer is 80, right? Now, if the last value here is 100, that means in total there's 100 students, right? How many students spend more than or equals to 30? I got 100 students, 80 of them is less than 30 seconds. How many of them more than 30 seconds? Answer is 20. Okay, we are going to do a tally now, a tally diagram. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you are the fifth person, just put a dash across. Okay, can you come out and put a tally? Okay, so 3. How many of them less than 150? 4. How do we get 4? 3 plus 1. How many of them less than 160? 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. How many of them less than 170? Never mind. Okay, 9 here, 9 here. Then later we know whether who never do this. Okay, how many less than 170? 19. And finally, how many less than 180? This one don't have. How many less than 180? Okay, so this is 6. I have 19 plus 6. So 25. Does it look like an S shape? It doesn't, right? So now, the final question is, when will it look like an S shape? Now in real life, okay, let's strike off all these numbers. Can you see the S shape come out? Okay, all right. So, in conclusion, the S shape will only come out if the data looks like that in the normal frequency table. If the data looks like this, whereby very few people at the extreme ends, a lot of people in the middle, then it will look like S. Okay, thank you. So we are now going to convert lah. Okay. Okay.